guys, welcome back to Naturally Anxious. This is your host, Crystal Hazel. Today's topic is bad dates. My handsome of a husband thought of this idea. He's like, I think you are the right person to talk about bad dates. And I, at first, looked at him confused, like, what does that mean? Because, like, what do you mean that I have great experience on bad dates? But then I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, you're right, because my single era was disgusting. So I know there's a lot of us out there that are experiencing bad dates now or are afraid to go out there and like actually go on a date because they've had so many bad experiences. And I would just love to sit here and tell you a couple of bad dates I've had and tell you my tips and tricks and maybe some advice that I would love to tell you guys. So without further ado, let's get into this beautiful intro. So now that we're back from that beautiful intro, I was literally just sitting here and trying to figure out like what can I start with and what would you guys like find entertaining. And I feel like the best story I could tell you is with the guy me and my friends call Dog Bowl. And yes, you did hear Dog Bowl. This man was a terrible, when I tell you guys, terrible kisser. Just like a terrible kisser. I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. And the funny thing is, my worst enemy has kissed this man. And I'm gonna go right into the tea. So, Dog Bowl, we're gonna call him Ben. Ben was the type of guy that like swore he was just that man. He just like had this huge ass ego. And I did not know that he knew people I knew. But that comes later in the story. So he randomly messaged me on, we're gonna just call it an app. And I was like, okay, like he seems pretty nice. And the thing about me, I'm not looking for like a supermodel type guy. I'm looking for a personality. I need you to make me laugh, okay? That's my huge thing. I need you to have a sense of humor. I need us to be like joking around. And he did do that. He did make me like laugh. He did have like, at first, before I found out, he did have a great personality. And I just like, I was like, damn, he seems kind of nice. Like, let me give him an opportunity. And he was like he lived in a town over from where I lived. And I gave him an opportunity. He was like, hey, we've been talking for like at least a month now. Would you like to go on a date? Not like a serious date, but like, walk around the park, getting to know each other. And I was like, yeah, I'm really down. Like, let's do this. So I'm getting ready for this date. And he picks me up. Very, very nice Mustang car. Love a Mustang back in the day. Love them. So right off the bat, he's picking me up. He's like making me laugh, and it's great. We go down to this little location, and it has like a waterfront. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so romantic. He's like, listen, I'm gonna be honest, since this is not a date, is it okay if we grab like a quick fast food place? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Whatever. He goes, do you want anything? It's on me, obviously. And I'm like, okay, like I would love like a burger and just a drink. That would be great. And he's like, yeah, for sure. We get our food, we go back to the waterfront, and we're sitting in the car and we're joking, laughing, hee. And then he decides to kiss me. And I'm like, okay, cool, like, whatever. I go in for the kiss, he's trying to kiss me, and I kid you not, guys, my nose and chin felt like it was inside of his mouth. Disgusting. Truly disgusting. The moment he started kissing me, I felt my whole face it's like basically being licked by a dog. You know how they lick you all over your face? Yeah, it felt like that. I was like, I need to get out of here. I kept texting one of my friends. Lily was nowhere to be found. Yes, Lily. She was nowhere to be found. I kept texting her. She was nowhere to be found. And you know what? I'm still holding that against her. I know I'm married now. She's married now. But I'm holding that against her. Because what do you mean you're not answering? This is my red flag alert. You need to answer me. So Lily wasn't answering, so I go off and text one of my ex-friends. And I'm like, oh my God, can you just like call me and make an excuse that I have to come home? Pretend to be my mom. I don't care. But I can't be on this date anymore. I am disgusted. She's like, yeah, no, bet. I got you. She texts me, then ends up calling me, and she goes, She makes my mom's voice, which, sorry, mom, if you're listening, she really did you justice. She started yelling, "Where are you?" And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry, but like, my mom's calling and I really have to go home, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, no, I get it, blah, blah, blah. He drops me off. And he was trying, not gonna lie to you guys, he was working somewhere as a security guard and was like, oh my God, do you just wanna like come with me to work and chill for a little bit and then I'll drop you off home later? And I was just like, I can't, my mom, all this stuff. And he drops me off. He's like nonstop texting me. I had a great time. I can't wait to do this again. And in my mind, I was like, oh no, like once you show me that you're a terrible kisser and then you want to, no, I can't do it. I know that sounds very so superficial, but I can't do it. Once I find out you're a bad kisser, it just throws it. It gives me the ick. I just don't want it. So he's texting me, texting me, texting me, texting me. And I'm still talking to my friend on the phone. I'm like, it was a terrible experience. He was a great guy, but the kiss was just like my big no. Like, no. My whole face, I kid you not, that had makeup on it, from my nose to my chin, it was gone. My makeup was gone. And I was just like, no, I can't. Like, this guy literally has half of my makeup down his, like, at this point, it's in his stomach. Because, like, what? And my friend was just like laughing, cackling, thinking this stuff was so funny. And I was just getting angry. And I was like, I can't talk to you. You're making me very angry right now. But like looking back at it now, I'm just like, I totally get why she was laughing. It was the worst experience of my life. I literally was just like, I to this day still like, am I like, I don't know how I did that. So this guy continually texts me and I was just like, hey, is it okay if we like, is it okay if we're friends? Like, I would love to be your friend. I feel like right now I'm not in the mindset to be somebody's girlfriend or go on dates right now. And he totally understood, right? And then he was like, oh, question. I saw that you were following somebody I used to talk to. Any chance you know who blah, blah, blah is? And mind you, it's the ex-friend I told you guys about on Friendship Trauma. He knew her. And then knew another girl, another friend of mine. And apparently they had a thing. And it was an off and on thing. And I was just like, okay, no, like I do know her. She's one of my friends, whatever. And it made it seem like we're not very close. But when I found that out, I was like, oh my God, this is the guy that she was talking about like years ago. I can't. I need to cut you off. Like, I literally was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And I just completely ghosted this kid. I completely ghosted him. And then he just started like blasting me on social media, basically saying I went on this date with this girl. I thought she was great until she wasn't, blah, blah, blah. Just like posting like cryptic stuff online. Basically made me out to be this huge villain, that I was just a terrible person. I was okay to take it. I was like, yes, I'm a terrible person. And literally a day later, he was already dating somebody and then blocked me. And I was nothing but grateful. Nothing but grateful. I hope the best for that girl, because, like, wow, was that just disturbing. I never want to deal with something. Thank God I'm married. I'm so happy, like, I met a perfect man, because I literally never want to deal with that ever again. I don't know how you single girls are doing it, but no. Can't do it over here. Once you're a terrible kisser, I can't continue. I'm sorry. So, this one story, my friends were like, if you don't put this in your podcast and tell your listeners that you had this experience, we're not listening to your podcast anymore. So, to my friends, here's the story you wanted. So, I had a friend named Charlotte. And during her college years, she was trying to be like the mysterious, sexy girl, okay? And she really had a big glow up. I'm not gonna even joke. She had the biggest glow up I've ever seen in my life, okay? And one of her college friends was like, hey, you're single. My cousin is newly single. I would love to put you guys together. And she's like, oh my God, yes. And she calls me up. She's like, hey, Crystal, I just got this date. I would love for you to do my hair if that's possible. I'm like, when do you need me? And she goes, today, if that's possible. I'm like, yeah, for you, anything, girly pop. So I put on my sweatpants, my oversized hoodie, my Ugg slippers, and my hair's in a messy bun with oversized glasses, mind you, okay? So she's like, hey, thank you for coming. Thank you for being there for me. So I noticed that she's a little anxious. She's acting really weird and not thinking much of it because it's a date. It's a first date for after a very messy high school experience. You know what I mean? It's been a while since she's been on a date. So I'm like, okay, like just breathe. Everything is fine. We'll do your hair and makeup and you'll get an outfit and we'll take pictures and you'll be on your merry way to your date. But when I was doing her hair, she was a little anxious and she was on her phone a lot. And I was just like, okay, like this isn't like her. For like a first date, this isn't like her. So I don't think much of it. I was like, okay, like I can't think too much of it. I'm doing her hair, whatever. As I'm spraying her hair, because I curled the bottoms, I'm spraying it, whatever, minding my business. She goes, Crystal, I have something to tell you. And I'm like, I felt chills go down my spine because when she says that, it's never a good thing. Okay? One thing about Charlotte, when she says like stuff like that, I know it's a bad plan right off the bat. So before she said anything, her phone rings and it's her friend Lisa. So Lisa was like, "Hey, I'm outside. Let me in." So she's like, "Crystal, can you let Lisa in? I really need to talk to the both of you before he comes." I'm like, "Alright, bet." And I'm like, opening the door. I'm like, "Lisa, do you know what's going on?" She's like, "Girl, no, I have no idea. She called me last minute." I'm like, "Oh, you too?" And she's like, "Yeah, she called me very last minute. I took an Uber here. I'm here. I don't know what's going on. Do you?" And I'm like, "I have zero idea." So we go inside her room again and she's pacing back and forth. And I'm like, okay, like something is really wrong if Charlotte is just pacing back and forth. She only does that when she feels guilty about something, mind you guys, okay? And she stops pacing and looks straight at us and goes, "Okay, this is gonna sound very strange, but is there any chance you guys could go on this date with us?" And the silence that goes through the room, we both me and Lisa look at each other like, "What do you mean go on the date with you?" She goes, "Yeah, can you go on the date with us?" And I'm like, "Okay, are you talking about like us sitting far away from you for like safety wise? Because we could Uber there. Just tell us where you're going." She goes, "No, no, no, no. I mean, like, get in the car with me with this guy." And the way that Lisa was like, "Girl, what?" Lisa was just as baffled as I was, had no words besides, "Girl, what?" So I was like, "Wait, does he know that we're going?" And she's like, "Yeah, I talked to him. He seemed he was okay with it and everything." I'm like, "Okay, so you do realize that me and Lisa look bummy as heck and you suspect us to then go on this date with you?" She goes, "It's perfectly fine. We're just going to the movies. It's not that big of a deal." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. All right, bet." So I'm looking at Lisa and I'm like, "Hey, if you're down, I'm down. Like, if he knows about it, that's fine. Okay." And Lisa was like, "Yeah, I'm down if you're down." I'm like, "All right, bet. We're both down." So this guy shows up. We're going to call him Dylan. Okay? We're going to call him Dylan. So Dylan was literally being nothing but a gentleman. Showed up in a black on black Mustang. Oh my God. And he comes out of that car and I look at Lisa and I'm like, "Damn." I'm not even joking when I say it. I said it out loud. I said, "Damn." Because this man was just gorgeous. Okay? Just gorgeous. Up, down, whatever. This man comes out of the car, opens the door for my friend, goes, "Hi, my name is Dylan." And he was like, "Wait, before you guys go inside, I just have to adjust the seat because I have to, kind of slide the seat forward. That way you guys could go in the back seat." I'm like, "Okay, no problem." So he's doing it. And I see that Charlotte starts holding Lisa's hand and Lisa is like walking to the back seat. And I see that Charlotte ends up in the back seat. And I'm just like, Charlotte, my love, why are you in the back seat?" She's like, "Oh, so I think that you should sit in the front, Crystal, and I'll just sit in the back with Lisa." I'm like, "Charlotte, my love, this is a date for you, not for me. This is not my date." And she was like, "Please, just sit in the front." And a big sigh came out of me, and I'm like, "Okay, that's fine, whatever." So Dylan's like, "It's fine with me if it's fine with you." And I'm like, "It's perfectly fine with me." We slide the seat back. I sit in the front with Dylan, and Dylan starts playing Biggie. And I'm like, "You like Biggie?" He's like, "Yeah, I like Biggie." And then we started talking about music, and it's like literally, I don't notice, but we're like having a conversation about music, and it's going nonstop. And I see that like Lisa and Charlotte are giggling. So I'm going, "Okay, that's weird." And I start thinking to myself, is this like a surprise date for me? Like, what is going on? Like, why am I sitting in the front with her date? So I'm texting her. I'm like, girl, aren't you supposed to be like having this date with this guy? She goes, but it seems like you guys have a connection. And I'm like, Charlotte, this is a date for you. Your friend set you up this man. She's like, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's not a big deal, girl. So then we end up in the movies, and he decides to buy all of our movie tickets. And I'm like, Dylan, you don't have to do that. He goes, no, it's perfectly fine. Let's watch a movie. So then he decides to go, hey, girls, do you want popcorn, drinks, anything? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. Me and Lisa both say no. Of course, Charlotte's like, yeah, no, I want popcorn, whatever. Perfectly fine. It's her date, okay? So we go to our seats. Then Charlotte decides to sit me next to her date while she goes sits with Lisa. And I'm like, Charlotte, my love, this is a date for you. This is not a date for me. What are we doing? She goes, no, it's cool. It's a perfectly fine. How about this? He sits in the middle. Lisa sits in the other side with me, and you sit in this side. And I'm like, okay. And I'm watching the movie. It was a great movie, by the way. And by the end of it, I'm having another conversation with Dylan, and we're like having a flowy conversation, and Charlotte's still not talking to her date. And I'm like confused as hell. I put Lisa to the side, and I'm like, hey, by any chance, is she like setting me up with this guy? Because like I seem to be the only one talking to him, and she's not even making an effort to talk to him. She goes, no, they're like actually on this date together. And I'm like, then why am I the only one talking to him? She goes, I honestly don't know. Because like she said that he was cute and everything, but she hasn't made an effort to talk to him. And Dylan was nice enough to drop me off at my home, and then dropped off Lisa, then me, then obviously my friend. And my friend's like, oh my god, like he walked me to the door, he's such a gentleman, all this. And I'm like, Charlotte, why was I mostly on this date with him? And she goes, don't be silly, Crystal, like, like this was a date with me and him. You guys just like came along. To my listeners, if you could do me a favor and put your opinions on that, because I truly think there is something wrong there. Because, like, why am I mostly talking to your date and you're in the back seat or sitting next to our friend Lisa? Because it seemed like I was on the date with the kid. You know what I mean? After that, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, Dylan decided to DM me and follow me on Instagram. But you listen, when it comes to my girls, I am loyal. I deleted him and I was like, hey, you were on that date with my friend and blah, blah, and this and the fourth. But you know what's funny is that Dylan's cousin messaged me saying, thank you so much for being so nice to my cousin. He felt like that date was really weird because he said that you were mostly talking to him, that Charlotte wasn't even trying to talk to him. And I was like, yeah, no problem, girl. And she goes, sorry for that. I didn't know she was going to pull that. I'm like, I honestly didn't know she was going to pull that. And she ended up dating him for like 2 years and broke up. 2 years and just broke up and started dating her stalker, which I think, good for you, Charlotte. Good for you, girl. I still don't get that. So this next story is my very first date. Like, very first date. I think it was around 6th grade. So we're going to call the guy Zach. We're going to call my friend in the story Amber. And we're going to call his brother Tyler. Okay? So Amber and I were best friends. Like, this girl, besides Lily, was my ride or die in middle school. Okay? And we just happened to be in her house watching a movie. I think we were watching like a very scary movie. I don't remember what it was. And of course, me and Zach are cuddling because we had that friendship where like we were flirtatious, but like we acted like we were a couple, but we weren't a couple. Very complicated. And he looks at me and he goes, hey, can you meet me in the kitchen? I'm like, yeah, sure. What's up? And he goes, no, just meet me in the kitchen. I'll tell you. And I meet him in the kitchen, and I see that he's very nervous. He's like, oh my God, I don't know how you're going to feel about this. And I know we've been, talking and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And he was like, I just want to come out and say, would you like to go on a date with me? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he goes, I wasn't sure if you liked me. I don't know. And I was like, yeah, I like you. And he goes, I like you too. And right off the bat, very first time that like a crush likes me and I like him back. And it was just like, it was amazing. Okay. And of course, as my friend Amber, she was She loved it. She was like, "Oh my god, I'm so happy for you guys." And Zach was like, "Were you listening?" And then she was like, "Yeah, no, obviously I was listening. Are you kidding me? It's my friend Crystal. What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Okay, so like when you guys going on this date?" And he was like, "I'm kind of thinking tomorrow if that's okay, because the night I think it was a Friday night. And we're going on a Saturday, okay?" And she's like, "Okay." And then she's like, "Can I talk to Crystal real quick?" And she pulls me to the side. He goes back to sit with his brother. And she's like, "Okay, like, you need to come to my house at this time and this time. We need to get ready together." So the whole plan was not just for us to go on a date. Because my friend Amber was like, "Okay, you guys could be solo, but I kind of want me and Tyler to be there as support." You know what I mean? Because I know afterwards, me and Crystal could walk together, and then you and your brother could go home the opposite way. Okay, and he was like, "Yeah, no, sure, I got it." So we go on this date, and I'm over at Amber's house. She's doing my makeup and everything, and they meet us at the stop. Because, the stop for us was meeting in the middle, and we could just walk down to the movie theater. And obviously, me and my friend Amber are in the front talking our ish, and the boys are in the back. And we get to the movie theaters. And I'm nervous, mind you. My mom gave me money. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to pay for my date. Like, I'm ready, like, whatever. Because, like, obviously, I didn't have any. I didn't know. Like, I didn't know a guy had to pay for your date. So he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm going to pay for my ticket." He goes, "No, I'm paying for your ticket. Like, what are you doing?" And I started laughing, and I'm like, "I'm so sorry." And my friend Amber's like, "Yeah, Crystal, he pays for the date." And I was like, "Oh." So, like, obviously, I'm very anxious. Like, oh my God, like, I'm so embarrassed. And I'm turning red. And he's like, "It's fine. You didn't know, but I'm paying for everything. Don't worry." Like, I was like, "Okay." And we're, like, waiting for the movie because obviously we came really early. And my friend Amber was like, "Crystal, let's go to the bathroom. Let's freshen up and then go to the bathroom and come out and watch the movie." And I was like, "Okay." So before I go, he like holds my hand. He's like, "Where are you going?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to the bathroom with Amber. She wants to go to the bathroom and I have to go." And he goes, "Okay." He's like, "Are you gonna want a blue raspberry slushy?" Because he knew it was one of my favorites. I'm like, "Yeah, but that's okay," because I see that it's like. I was like, "That's expensive." He was like, "It's no problem. I got you." So he gets me my blue slushy. He's like, "I'll wait for you out here with Tyler, whatever." We go into the bathroom. We're talking our ish. You know, girls in the bathroom, we talk our ish. We're trying to have a game plan, everything. That's what girls like to do in the bathroom, okay? So me and Amber are giving a game plan and all that stuff. She goes, "Okay, like, don't, go in for the kiss. Let him go in for the kiss." All this stuff. And we come out, and my friend Amber, out of nowhere, decides to throw me to the wall. And we're hiding behind this poster figure of, I don't know what movie it was at that time. And I was like, "Why?" I'm looking at her like, "Why would you throw me?" And she's like, "Wait, I want you to see what I'm looking at." And then I'm hiding behind the poster, and the poster is in the middle of me and Amber. And we're looking, and it's Zach flirting with a snack girl. And I'm just like in shock. I'm like, "What the heck?" Mind you, this girl has to be older than us. That's another thing. Like, what? So we're hiding behind this poster, and I could see Tyler like telling him, like, "Hurry up, let's get over this. Like, the girls are gonna come back." And I see Zach like going, "Hey, can I have this? Can I have that? Blah blah blah." And the girl literally gave him two slushy for free. Like, this girl had to be in high school. We're about to go to seventh grade. Like, what? And Amber's like, "Girl, don't you dare, like, interact with him, because the way that he just pulled this." And I'm, like, sucking it all. Like, literally, I wasn't crying, but I was just, like, touching up my makeup and everything. And I just walk out like nothing happened. But I'm being very cold with him. I was like, "No, not with me. I don't play that." And Tyler and my friend Amber walk away from us. They see a row down from us, and we're on the top row, okay? And he's like, "Here's your slushy, here's your little popcorn." I'm like, "Thank you." And I'm like really, really mean to him. Like, I just didn't care to be there anymore. And he was trying to hold my hand. I said no. He was trying to kiss me. I said no. Like, I was just so turned off. Like, you literally flirted with another girl, and then you want to sit here and act like you didn't. So I'm being very cold with him. He holds me, and he's putting his arm around me. I let it happen So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to tell you how it is after the movie. So we're walking out. He's holding my hand, mind you. And I'm just like, like when somebody's holding your hand, your fingers are open, but they're not closed to their hand. My hands were open. And he's like, "Are you okay? You've been acting kind of weird." And I'm like, "You know what? I'm a little disappointed." And he was like looking at me and he was looking at Tyler. And I'm like, "No, don't look at Tyler. I'm honestly disappointed." And Amber was like, "Mm-hmm." And she was like nodding, yep. I was like, "I'm very disappointed because this is my first date and you kind of ruined it for me." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I literally walked out of the bathroom seeing you flirt with the snack girl who has to be an old," I said, "ass lady. And you didn't care to think about me and my feelings, and that's perfectly fine." And he's like, "What are you talking about? All this stuff." And then I started apologizing. And I was like, "You know what? I think I'm done here." And I said, "You know what, Amber? I think if it's okay with you, can we go over to your house?" And she goes, "Yeah, Crystal, no problem." And we walk out. Mind you, he's still saying sorry, like repeatedly, sorry, 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 sorry. And I was just like, no. I was just like, no. And we're at Amber's house, and he's calling Amber like nonstop, just like nonstop. Mind you, at this time, I didn't have my own phone, so obviously. He's calling, 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 calling. He's like, "Can I please talk to Crystal? I'm so sorry. Can I please talk to Crystal?" And I just kept nodding my head no. And so Amber was like, "Okay, like, you eventually have to talk to him. We have school soon. Like, you have to talk to him." I was like, "No, I'm okay." So he repeatedly sends me a message, repeatedly saying sorry, 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 call. And it was around my birthday, he came over because obviously I invited him to my birthday. It was a pool party. And he just kept saying, "I'm so sorry." He got me flowers, everything. Like, he was like, please forgive me." And I was just like, "I forgive you, but I just don't. I'm so sad. Like, you did me so dirty." Like, I was just like not even joking with him. So I see him talking to one of our friends. We're gonna call her Amber. Oh no, we can't call her Amber. Ashley. We're gonna call her Ashley, okay? So I see that Ashley and her little sister are talking to him. And he's talking to them, but he looks very sad. He's like looking at me and everything. I just didn't care. It was my birthday. I did not care. And Ashley was like my go-to friend as well. She was like one of my girls. She was like, "Yo, I heard what you did to Crystal. It was so slimy, blah, blah," like going at him. And she's like, "I understand why she's mad. I would have been mad too." And we go back to school. I still haven't forgave him, right? And we end up going to this, at this point is like late October, about to be November, and I finally forgive him. I was like, "Everything is okay between us. We're good, whatever." He's like, "I'm so sorry. I would never do that again. I feel so bad." And I'm like, "It's okay." We make amends. I give him his Christmas gift. He gives me my Christmas gift. We're happy, whatever. Around spring break, we go to a friend's birthday party, and Ashley and her sister are walking with us down the block with Tyler. And I see that Ashley's little sister is trying very hard to flirt with Zach. And I'm just like, okay, no. Like, no. You see that he's holding my hand. Like, no. We're still not dating, by the way. We're still not dating. And we go to his friend's party, and he's laying on top of me, and I'm like, he, like, oh my God. And we're flirting. Of course, we are. And out of nowhere, we kiss. And I was just like looking at him like, oh my God, because he was laying on my lap, and I looked down and he kissed me, and I was like, oh my God. And our mutual friend, we're going to call her Pink. Pink, it was her birthday. She was like, oh my God, like, what's going on? Why are you guys alone? I was like, nothing. We're just hanging out. And he's like, nothing. He's smiling. And the night kind of ends. And he's like, "Please don't go. Please don't go." And I'm like, "I'm sorry. I have to go. My brother's here." And he's texting me the whole time. Because mind you, on my birthday, I got my phone. I got a phone. And I'm texting. He's texting back. And he's like, "Yo, I have to tell you something." And I'm like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, "Remember that girl, that Ashley girl's little sister?" And I'm like, "Yeah." yeah, she was trying to kiss me. And I said, no. And I said, no. He kept repeating, I said, no. And I just like started laughing. I'm like, it's okay. And he's like, okay, like, I wanted to ask you this, but I was kind of scared. Can you call me? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll call you. And he was like, would you like to be my girlfriend? And I was like, yes. And we were boyfriend and girlfriend for like 2 months, okay? Keep that in mind, okay? And nobody, like, people knew, but people didn't know, if that makes sense. Like, we were obviously like the flirty friends. We acted like we were together. So people didn't really think we were together. They just thought we were just flirting like usual. And out of nowhere, he just starts acting a little off. Like, for more than usual. Acting a little off. And I see his brother continually bring a girl in the group. And we're going to call her Pineapple. Like, repeatedly bringing this girl. Like, repeatedly. To Amber's house and everything. Mind you, me, Amber, don't know who this girl is. One day, Amber's having a party. And I see that Zach is acting extremely weird with me. And I'm asking Tyler, like, what's up? Like, why is he acting like this? He goes, no, he's perfectly fine. Like, I think you're just overthinking it. And Pineapple shows up to Amber's house. And Amber's like, I did not invite her here. Like, why is she here? And he's like, not Zach. Tyler was like, I brought her here. She's one of our closest friend. Amber was like, yeah, your closest friend, but not mine. Why is she in my house? So then Pineapple sits, like, we invited her, and I see Zach's face, like, shut down when he sees Pineapple. Like he saw a ghost type thing. And I'm looking at Amber, and I'm like, this is kind of weird. Why is he acting like that? And Amber goes up to Pineapple and goes, can I ask you a question? Why are you in my house? Like, I don't know you. And I'm like laughing because I'm just like, I can't believe Amber's doing this. She goes, I don't know you and you're at my house. She goes, yeah, I got invited from Zach and Tyler to come over. And she's like, yeah, no, I understand that, but I don't know you. And I don't believe strangers should be in other strangers' homes. So the girl leaves. Then Tyler leaves. And then surprisingly, Zach hugs me and goes, oh, I'm going to just head out, and leaves. And all my friends are looking at me like, okay, that was kind of weird even for him. Like, why is he leaving? His girlfriend is here. He leaves, and I get a text message. Basically, he, like, broke up with me. And I was confused. I wasn't just, like, crying or nothing. I was just very confused and just, like, got over it really quickly. Like, I was like, okay, cool, like, whatever. And then a day later, we're back in school, and he was dating that girl. So, yeah. It's okay, because they only lasted, like, a week. So it was perfectly fine with me. After that, Zach was trying to get back with me. I was like, no, I'm good. I felt like why I'm saying this is like my terrible date story is because, like, right off the bat, when he was flirting with the snack girl, I should have been like, no, this guy isn't for me. But obviously, as a young girl, you're just like, oh my god, my crush likes me and he asks me out and blah blah, and you're like daydreaming. So yeah, that is wrong. That story obviously was my very first date. And the reason why I put it in the podcast is because, like, I feel like even as a young girl, you're just ignoring all the red flags. You're not even, like, questioning, like, okay, he was flirting with the snack girl. Obviously, he's not trustworthy. Like, he's just gonna flirt with any girl that has a heartbeat. You shouldn't date him. But obviously, as a young girl, I'm like, my crush likes me. I like my crush. He's gonna ask me out, blah, blah, blah. And you're trying to go in the long haul. And you ignore all the red flags. Thank God I learned from that experience afterwards. But like, imagine never learning from those experiences. Imagine still ignoring red flags and dating the wrong guys. So next we're gonna do advice. I feel like more advice, more tips, and how to survive a bad date. Because, like, oh my god, girlies, like, we need to start opening our eyes when it comes to these dates, because I've been hearing horror stories from my own friends. Like, what are we doing? Like, yes, we're single at a certain age. It gets kind of like, ugh, I want to meet a good man, you know what I mean? Or a good girl or a good person. Like, I just want to date somebody that understands me and I understand them, and we're having a great, healthy connection. But it's not to that point that you just have to date anything. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't date whoever. Like, check off, here we go again with the pros and cons. Make a pros and con list and be like, what am I looking for in a partner? What am I not looking for in a partner? Because we just ignore red flags so quickly. Oh, they check off 2 things. They're perfect for me. No, we should not do this. I'm a firm believer on pros and con list. Y'all could laugh at me. Y'all could put your little comments in the bottom. Listen, my pros and con list is not a joke to me. I literally did a pros and cons for this podcast. I did a pros and cons for my husband, and I did a pros and cons for my job that I'm in now. I am a firm believer in pros and con lists, okay? Listen to your girl Crystal, okay? This is how you do it. So you put one section, obviously, that says pros, and another section that says cons, okay? If you're going on a date and you're getting to know somebody, put it on your phone because it's easier, okay? If you're on that date, by the end of the night, when you're home, going on an Uber, if he's dropping you off, anything, right? Go inside your house, you say your byes, blah, blah, go inside your house. You look in your phone right after the date ends, right? And if you cross off 4 to 5 good ones, he's a keeper. If you have mostly negative things to say about him, he is not a keeper and you move on, okay? I believe that 4 to 5 are kind of reasonable. I feel like 3, you're just giving him, if he crosses off 3, that's perfectly fine. I feel like 3 to 4 to 5 are perfectly fine for you to cross off. But if he mostly crosses off negative than the 3 or 4 or 5, he is not for you, love. Move the freak on. Another thing I do on dates is that I'm not even joking, I am very protective, and I turn on my location and I make my friends turn on their location, never take it off, because you know what? You never know who you're going on a date with. I don't trust people, and that's just me, but I'm very, very protective over my friends. I do not trust if you're turning off your location, because then I'll be blowing up your phone going, girl, I know you're on this date. Put your location on. I will call you obsessively. I don't know if you guys are like that with your friends, but I am. I'm very protective over my friends. Locations are important. Pros and cons are important. Another thing is I feel like don't be trauma dumping on the date. Please don't be that person. Don't trauma dump on this person saying, oh, this and the fourth, blah, blah. That is such a turn off. Please do not do that. Please, I beg of you. Another thing, I do believe I know I laughed about it in the beginning of this podcast about like my friend bringing me to her date, but you can't do that. Go on a group date or call your girls up, be like, hey, sit at a table away from us and keep an eye on my date if you don't feel safe or you feel uncomfortable. You guys can meet up in the bathroom and be like, okay, like I'm doing this. Oh my God, touch up my makeup. And you get a hype girl and be like, hey, you're doing great, blah, blah. And she goes right back out of the date. Those are great. Do that. Either do a group date or you bring your friends along and make them sit on a table away from you and then text them and like, let's meet up in the bathroom. Let's talk about this. And that's it. That's such a good idea. I'm sorry, but it is. Another thing, I do believe, I'm sorry, and you guys might kill me on this, I do think, like, if he asks you on a date, you should pay for it. And I know this is I know a lot of people don't like this, but I do think if the person who asks the other person to a date should pay for it. If not, 50-50. I'm fine with 50-50. You know what I mean? If it's the very first date, I'm fine with it, okay? But I do believe if, like, you ask me on a date, you should pay for it. You know what I mean? My advice fully on this whole topic is have fun. Don't think too much about it. Always, when I tell you, always be yourself on a date. Don't try to put a persona on to make them like you. It's not worth it. If they don't like you for you, that person was never meant for you to begin with, honestly. Like, if you're putting on this persona, like, I'm a insta baddie or I'm a very confident girl when you're really anxious, like, don't. Obviously, give them a oomph, you know what I mean? Like, give them a little taste of something, like, and when I'm saying that, I mean, like, get dolled up, be that girl, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, every girl has a persona when they're on a date. What I'm trying to say, mostly, is, like, don't overdo it. Don't try to be somebody you completely aren't at all. Because then they're going to always look for that person you're trying to be. You know what I mean? I hope you guys understood that because I know I'm a little all over the place. I am also a firm believer that you need to look good when you're on a date. Okay? If you are a very fashionista baddie, you know what I mean? And this guy shows up in sweatpants, no. Next. You know what I mean? Like, that don't make no sense. Unless if you're like that girl that really likes an Adam Sandler type guy, then that's fine. But if a guy showed up to a date that didn't even try, like my husband on our very first date, I was wearing jeans and a sweater and combat boots, and he literally wore a polo and jeans. Like he was dressed up at least. You know what I mean? I need also you guys to understand, and it's a very big deal to me. I love the one thing I did love about my husband on our very first date is that he literally, I was sick, okay? I was very sick. I was dealing with cramps. I was not feeling well, but I didn't want to miss out on this date. So I ordered a salad just to be safe because my stomach I wasn't feeling well. And he was like, I hope you're not ordering a salad because you don't feel safe eating in front of me. And I was like, no, no, I just don't feel well. I just, no, no, no. And he goes, I love, if you end up feeling better later, I would love to take you out to eat something else in our very next date. And I'm like, no, 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 it had nothing to do with you. It's just I just don't feel well. And he's like, okay, like the next day, please order stuff that you normally order. Don't try to eat a salad to be safe. And I'm like, oh, honey, I am not that girl. Don't you worry. I will be eating next time. Like, that's the one thing I love about my husband is that he's okay if I'm just like ordering a big sloppy burger and he's never going to judge me. He doesn't expect me to eat it. Like, if I want to eat a salad, I'll eat a salad, girly pop. But I'm saying, like, being on a date with somebody that like brings the best out of you and making you feel comfortable is very important. So I hope when you guys go on a date and you start getting to know that person, I hope that they're making you feel very safe, very welcome, very, you know, I hope they're making you feel special. And I hope he's not on his phone the whole time. Because let me just tell you, people on their phone on dates the whole freaking time is a big ick for me. I don't know if it's for you, but the biggest thing is when I'm talking to you and you're on your phone, it gives me a big ick. Another thing is just like if they're not attentive to you on the date, like if they're not paying attention to you and you're talking, it's like, are you really gonna sit through that whole date? I would have been like, hey, like I really need to go home, and I would just end the date because like that's just disgusting to me. I don't know how people do that. This next story has to do with Liz and Nick. They were like the couple that were like very laid back. They kept asking us to go on double dates, and our schedules just never linked with each other. Finally, our schedules link, and we go on this date with them. So, something you should know about Liz and Nick, they don't really drive. So, me and my husband decided to pick them up right off the bat. They're taking forever. So, like, they're taking forever. And we were just like, okay, like, whatever. They're on a date. They're trying to get ready for a date. I totally get it. We were back then, we were very understanding people, but then people kind of took advantage of that and we kind of changed, okay? So they were taking full advantage. They took, not even joking, like 30 to 40 minutes to come down the stairs for our date, okay? Finally, Liz and Nick come to the car. They're sitting in the back, and we're like, oh my God, it's been a long time. Oh my God, and we're like, being friends, whatever. We're talking. All of a sudden, Nick starts talking disgusting things about his friends. Disgusting. Like, oh my God. Just like saying rude ass things about his friend. Mind you, I don't like the friend he's talking about, but still, it was just so gross. And then I see that Lizzie starts talking about the friend and also her friend in a disgusting manner. And me and my mans are looking at them like, it's so weird that they're talking like this because they're a chill couple. Like, what? And they just continue making fun of these two people, like, continually the whole time we're going to this date. And we just don't put our 2 cents. We just ignore it. We're just like, whatever, move on. We change the topic. So we finally go to the place where we're going to have this date. And this is our go-to spot, right? We sit down and we're looking through the menu. And we're telling the lady what we want to drink. And Lizzie's talking to me about this new plan that she's trying to make, blah, 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 this and the fourth. And Nick and my mans are talking and they're having a good conversation, whatever. They're trying to catch up because they haven't seen each other in a long time. And out of nowhere, we're getting the menus to order food, and Nick is very gun ho about eating this one meal. And we're like, okay, that sounds really good. We should do that. And then for some reason, Lizzie looks at him and starts yelling, like yelling at him. And me and my mans are like, what is going on? Like, legit, these people are the most chill people. Like, it threw us so off that they were such terrible people to go on double dates with. This was like the double date of hell. Like, I'm not even joking. I don't know what clicked in them to start acting like this, but it scared the hell out of me and my mans. She starts yelling at him, like, you shouldn't eat that, blah, blah, like yelling at him. And we're just like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not something crazy, blah, blah, this stuff. I don't know if there was other things going on, and that's why she said that. But, like, legit, I was just like, okay, like, he won't have that. And, like, I'm like, do you guys want to order appetizers? And then she starts going on this tangent how he can't have this in the fourth. And I'm like, okay, we won't order that. We will order this. And then she calms down a little bit. She's talking about that business plan that she had. And we get our food. And she's trying to pick out of Nick's plate. And it's like, okay, you didn't want me to order this, but here you are picking the food. And they start a new argument in front of us. And we're just like looking at each other like, okay, we just ordered a burger and wings. And like, we're trying to not trigger y'all, but like, what is going on? Like, and we're just looking back and forth as they're arguing, and we're getting embarrassed because people start looking at us. I'm like, what is happening? Like, and I'm mortified. We finish our meal, whatever, we pay, and Nick has to run an errand right after, right? After this whole thing, mind you, has to run an errand. We're like, okay, dope, like, no problem. Whatever, we're going, and I'm talking to Liz. I'm like, are you okay? Because, like, that seemed, like, not like you guys and all this stuff. She goes, no, we're fine. We're really fine. And he's, like, doing his errand, whatever. We end up, like, dropping them off. And I kid you not, when we drop them off, they're already arguing outside the car. And they go inside. And my husband looks at me, and then fiance at the time. But he looks at me, he goes, that was a terrible date, right? And I'm like, yes, it was. It was very uncomfortable. And he goes, okay, so it wasn't just me, and you weren't the only one thinking like, wow, that was terrible. I was like, no, babe, that was a terrible date. Like, it wasn't just you. And he was like, okay, thank God, because I didn't want to say nothing, but that was the worst day I've ever been on. I've never dealt with a double date like that. And I'm like, I've never seen them like that. And he was just like, oh my God, like, never again. We're never doing that again. I'm like, I'm so sorry, babe. And he's like, it's not your fault. You want to get ice cream? And I'm like, yeah, let's go get ice cream. We were going to ask him if they wanted ice cream because the whole night they were saying, oh my God, like, we're craving ice cream. But didn't want to continue the date. We were just so uncomfortable. We're just like, nah, we're done. Like, let's go. Like, we just wanted to end it. It was the worst experience ever. This next date, oh my God, has to do with my friendship trauma part 1, girly. And we're gonna call her Ulissa. So Ulissa and her mans were like our go-to like couple to go on dates with because, you know, they were really chill, whatever. That's our biggest mistake. And I don't know what it was, but all of our chill friend couples, like, I don't know if they just like have an off day, but this was another off couple that we used to think was chill. So my friend Ulissa was making food, and I'm sitting there, and I've seen Ulissa in forever, and her mans is like talking to my mans, and it's this whole thing. Out of nowhere, she starts sobbing, crying, like sobbing, crying. And I'm just like, legit, my eyes open. I'm like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? She goes, I haven't seen you in so long, and I've been dying to tell you. I've been having a really bad time with our friends and all this stuff. And I'm just like, okay, like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And she tells me everything. And it just, the whole time I was with her, it felt like she was just trauma dumping on me. And I was already going through enough, and I was just like, I would love to talk to you about this in another time. And I kept repeatedly saying that. And she didn't give any hells, repeatedly trauma dumping me about our friends. And I was just like, I'm so sorry you're going through that. And it's just like for the next 2 months was doing the same exact thing, just trauma dumping, trauma dumping, trauma dumping. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take my break from her. Like I literally looked at my husband. I'm like, I love her, but I got to remove myself because I'm already dealing with enough. And the fact that I have to add on hers because she wants me to try to solve her problems for her ain't gonna happen. And that's like the first time that I was just like, I am no longer going on double dates. I feel like double dates isn't meant for me and my husband. It's just not. It's always the chill couples that like are so chill and so nice, and then when they go on double dates with them, it's like a click, just like the switch goes off, and it's a whole different person in front of us, and we're just like, okay, like what is happening? Why is this happening to us? But yeah, I don't know, guys. Like double dates for me have been terrible, and I hope they're better later on in my future. But for right now, I think me and my husband are okay not having double dates. Anyways, guys, I know I've talked, I know I've rambled, but I truly hope you guys have learned from my experience with bad dates, and I hope you have an amazing weekend or weekday. I don't know when you guys are gonna listen to this, and I will see you next time. Bye, my beautiful yappers.